But yeah, backtracking here, as y'all know, Lauren Murphy, she battled it out with Valentina Shevchenko, and that was her first stoppage loss, right? And Lauren Murphy, this was on 266, UFC 266. And Lauren Murphy, she went back and talked about her performance. And, we all been talking about that since. Lauren Murphy, we've always kind of looked at her as that hard worker type of fighter. Like Cynthia Calvillo said, she doesn't really show anything special. She's just a grinder and a hard worker. So when you go in there with somebody like Valentina Shevchenko, you're going to see the difference in level. Lauren Murphy was on her 5-fight winning streak. Valentina Shevchenko was on a dominant 5-title defense run, right? So right there, you could already kind of see the level. I know some people would say styles make fights, but it's bigger than that, especially when it comes to the champion. But Lauren Murphy, she did this interview where she was just discussing what it was like being in there with Valentina Shevchenko. And she said, this must what it be like. This is must what it's like to face off against the legendary Michael Jordan in a one-on-one basketball game, right? So when I heard that, right away, I was like, okay, so this is a humble fighter. This is a humble fighter that's showing the respect to the champion and what level they're on. She's not making any excuses. I know she said some things about her trainer not being there and that kind of having some effects and some possibilities of, pulling out of the fight. But I think she finally realized what the fight was, and who the opponent she was in there with is, So when it comes down to it, she knows that those different things wouldn't affect it. They wouldn't affect her performance. So here's what she said. She was incredible. It was pretty crazy to be in there with somebody at that level because I never truly competed with anybody at that level. I don't remember the 4th round really. So I guess that's pretty good. It's a bummer to lose. And that's the first time I've ever been finished. I think it was a good stoppage. I was pretty much out of it by the time the referee pulled her off of me. It was definitely not the outcome we wanted. But to be honest, it was pretty cool to be in there with the martial artists of her caliber. That's a pretty cool experience. That must be what it's like to play one-on-one with Michael Jordan, or how the guys feel when they're competing with Khabib, because it's like, holy ish, this girl is really on another level. So that's crazy though, man, because it was like, going into the fight, the buildup and the confidence that fighter had, they knew all along that's just a mask. You know what I mean? They just knew that was a mask. For Lauren Murphy, she talked about how she was a complete fighter, but deep down she knew that the things that she possesses, the tools that she possessed, was not going to be enough to face Valentina Shevchenko. She just had to take that shot, right? She just had to go in there and take that shot. And we can understand now why she wasn't really jumping at the opportunity, right? She wanted to get as many fights as she could. And, she was never really one that was really voicing like, give me that title shot. I want to beat Valentina up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. She was never really one to do that because she knew what Valentina possessed. And lo and behold, when she got in there, it was everything she thought it was and then some. So, Calvillo was right on that point that you can see the big difference. Like, what she has is not going to be enough to deal with her. So with that just kind of shows you what some of these other women in the sport of WMMA, they have to do. Like, they have to earn this. They have to earn this type of respect. The level that these fighters at flyweight have to reach, they have to find some way to get to that point where Valentina Shevchenko is. That's the only way they're going to be a challenge for her or give her a tough fight or possibly beat her. It takes that work and that discipline in each discipline, if you know what I mean. It takes those 3 Ds I said, dominance, defense, and discipline, and that's a good way for, I think, fighters to really understand it, those 3 Ds. If they go back and listen to what Lauren Murphy said about this fighter, comparing her to Jordan, I think all these other flyweights, they have the same thing on their mind. They have to go back and say, Jordan, she's comparing Valentina to Jordan. Let me go back and, look at the tapes of Jordan, listen to his talk, look at his interviews, look at his practices, just see what he went through, his body language. Same thing. Go with Valentina. Look at her post-fight interviews, her pre-fight interviews, her training, and look at the different things that she does. Those things that she continues to do, the things that she continues to do outside of the octagon is what makes her fights look the way they do, as easy as they do. And I know a lot of people, I have some people always disagree with me in videos saying I'm bigging her up too much as a champion, but no, like she works hard as hell in these training camps for fights. That's why the fights look easy. Because she's doing everything she needs to do. I know it's a combination of that and some of these fighters are not really realizing what they need to do too. But Valentina is just showing you, look, this is the complete package right here. Some of these other fighters, they haven't reached that level because they don't put it all together like she does. Some of them have this, but some of them lack that. Some of them have a little bit of this. Some of them don't have that. Some of them have that, but some don't have this, So she has everything. That's why she's getting that respect. So if these fighters out here want to get it, they got to earn that respect. And by earning that respect, they got to work. And that one thing they really need to do too is to understand is the sacrifice. Sacrifice is a big part. You have to understand that some things do have to be put on hold if you want that belt. If not, you can expect to lose to the Bullet or whoever's behind her, or whoever's in front of her, any of those gatekeepers, you're going to lose. Because if you don't put some things on hold and sacrifice those things, then you aren't going to get the outcome that she has. Like Valentina Shevchenko sacrifices a lot to get a lot. She sacrificed some major things to get where she is. She's always talking about how, she's dedicated to the sport. And one of the things that keeps her dedicated is because, she's not really in some serious relationships as well that kind of, put things on hold as far as, getting to the belt. She knows like to get here, the fight game has to outweigh what's going on in my personal life in some ways. She gets to travel and do other things, but when it comes down to fighting, she's making sure that those type of barriers that you put in front of yourself, like certain types of relationships, she doesn't let that affect her. She doesn't even choose those type of things. It's always about the fight game, and that's the thing, man. Like if you want to be champion, especially if you want to beat her, you have to eat, sleep, breathe MMA. Some fighters say they do that, but not all the time. I don't think so. That's why they come up short when they challenge her or they get beat before they even get on a solid streak to get to the title, So yeah, that's one way to look at it. I think for, some of these women fighters out here, go back and look at this interview and just see what Lauren Murphy said about Valentina Shevchenko, the comparisons, and that'll kind of give you an idea of what you need to do as a fighter, to make it. We got to earn this type of respect. I got to be on another level. Like Lauren Murphy, good fighter, but to get her to say these type of things about her, you got to be on that top level. You know what I mean? And do the damage you did. First person to stop Lauren Murphy. And then Lauren Murphy, like she said, she was out of it in the fourth round. Like that's how bad the beating was. And that's how blinded she was by the talent, Also watch what Amanda Nunes did to Megan Anderson. I mean, just by body language alone, she couldn't handle that. It was a mixture of starstruck and just fear. So yeah, that's one of the comparisons I just kind of wanted to go back and kind of like in that. Well, this Jordan comparison was just something I want to go back and put that in today's topic as far as how these women and men, they can find success in the game. They have to really earn that type of respect. They have to really go back and think about what is in my life that's kind of holding me back. What do I need more of? What do I need less of? Right. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what y'all think about that. Like, even the fact about Lauren Murphy saying that, like, when a fighter feels that way, do they just go on as a career fighter and, not try for the title again? That doesn't sound like a fighter that wants to challenge for a second title run, does it? So yeah,